look at even the evolution of human society, from the medieval era, coming to the Roman Empire, was looking at the era of even the supremacy of the American system. You see, the most important sector in any human society is information and communication.
Information and communication
is very, very important. Very, very important. If you see any media, I don't care the name they call themselves, their national newspaper. It is an error. There's no national newspaper in Nigeria. And I say
there's no national newspaper.
No national newspaper. For example, I am from Ponyo in Kogi State. Do the content analysis of all our media houses, whether you see anything from Ponyo, from all those rural areas. If you do content analysis, 70% of Nigerians are in the rural areas, and no issue concerning them that merit prominence on their headline.
I agree with you now, sir. I can see
some newspapers, they will report what happened in government houses from January to December. Some of what we actually took that job as not just a vocation, but a ministry. You understand? To the responsibility of educating people, informing them is very, very important. You see, because it gave us the capacity and enablement to do what they call mind management and mind control.
Yes.
You getting what I'm saying?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And whatever you give access to your mind controls your life. Okay? Where are your rust? I mean, where gold rust?
Yes, sir.
Then iron is in trouble. If the corruption can penetrate the spiritual institution, who are we in the media institution?
It's sad.
You understand?
It's so sad,
the Bible says that rain fell and then flood came and it carried us, and we were not strong enough. Sir, we cannot treat the media in isolation of what is happening to our larger society. You cannot be looking at how a building is collapsing when the structures are down. It is the pillar. It is the pillar that holds a building. So when the pillars are down, we are meant to be down. Yorùbá sẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yàn bá ṣubú tọwọ́ ẹ̀ ń dànù ni.
Well, it's another very wonderful, lovely day today in the city of Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, as we meet a very wonderful, unique personality and somebody that we can define as the golden voice of God, somebody that is destined for the great manifestation of God, especially in the area of liberation for the souls that are under bondage, in the area of giving freedom in terms of spiritual information, spiritual enlightenment, and spiritual direction for children of God. It has not been easy to come across this man. In the last 2-3 years, we've been on him, trying to reach out to him. He's a very busy person. Apart from being a pastor, he's also an entrepreneur, and he's a media practitioner, a media advisor, consultant to a lot of organizations, political and other secular organizations. But by the special grace of God, last month, we got the hint that he's going to be around in town. Then suddenly, there was a cancellation again. But by his miracle, by his grace, by the grace of God, God brought him around for a special assignment in Lagos, and we have been trying to talk to people around him, try to appeal, try to beg, and it just happened like a miracle. And today, 2nd of September, year 2001, we are very much happy, and we are grateful to God for bringing us before Pastor Dayo Thomas, the pastor and the founder, the visionary of Fire of Restoration Ministries in Nigeria. He is a man of God. He has seen it all, and he has a lot to share with us, especially on the state of the church, and especially on his relationship with some of the churches, and particularly with the Synagogue Church of All Nations, and things that will uplift Christ-like behavior and will also restore freedom intellectually, spiritually, and physically for a lot of Christians. We're very happy to be with Pastor Dayo Thomas, sir. With total honor, sir, I'm very grateful today that you gave us your time. We know you are very busy, and it's not easy coming by you. I'm very, very grateful, sir. I want to thank you. First and foremost, who is this great man? Pastor Dayo Thomas, can we just meet you with total honor, sir?
To God be the glory. And honestly speaking, I want to commend your efforts and what you are doing to humanity.
God bless you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I must confess that you are really filling the gap that had existed before now.
God bless you, sir.
Because one of the major problems we have in this generation is lack of accountability.
Lack of accountability.
Yes. You see, if you check our institutions, be it the church, politics, business, you see people behaving as if they are God. You understand? They are no longer accountable. And you realize that before now, we read the book that says when power is absolute, that same power corrupts absolutely. In our generation today, mentors have become tormentors. You see, people are doing so terribly. They are doing so. They're not doing well, and there's nobody who can check them. You understand? There are so much excesses everywhere, and unfortunately, there are institutions that ordinarily they are positioned and empowered to do that check. You see, but unfortunately, they are no longer doing what they are created to do, especially the media.
Yes, the media.
They're not left for individuals like you, who possibly you have been inspired of God, because there's nobody who is doing what you are doing except you have been inspired of God. And without any attempt to be modest, you understand? Many of us, we did that when we were very active in the mainstream media. By the grace of God, I work with 9 media houses.
In Nigeria?
9 in Nigeria.
That's inspiring, sir.
I was with the Punch.
That's inspiring.
I was with This Day,
okay, sir.
The Week Magazine, National Interest, Investment Journal, so many of them in this Lagos. 9 media houses.
That's
by the grace of God.
That's very
and at the point, I was the director of press and communication to Senator Gbemisola Saraki at the National Assembly. From then, I moved to the office of the Senate President. I was a senior legislative aide to the former Senate President, Jimi.
Oh,
yes, I was there with Honorable Kola Ologbondiyan. And by the grace of God, I am the managing director, chief executive of a state media. So God has also positioned us to be able to see humanity and our society from vantage position, not for our pleasure, but because of the unique assignment that He has given to us. That's why Moses, nobody could do what Moses did. God positioned him, brought him for a time like that, for him, because ministry is about you escape to rescue. Escaping to rescue. You rescue.
So the knowledge you get from escape is what you use to deliver others.
Of course.
Okay.
So God has allowed to go through all of these so that we'll be able to understand the uniqueness and the peculiarity of the assignment He has given to us and be able to do the divine mandate He has committed to our hands. So by the grace of God, I feel humbled to partner with somebody like you, because
thank you, sir.
Honestly speaking, this is what they call ministry. Ministry, adding value, ministry, meeting needs. And that is exactly what you are doing. And someone like us, we are ready. This is what we are created for. And some of what we believe, you must be able to die for the vision that God has created you for. So I want to really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much, sir.
You see, let me tell you, what you are doing is not common in this society. We are not used to giving our life to our assignment. You see, we are used to playing safe. You see, that's why our society is different from Europe and America. For example, somebody who manufactured plane.
Yeah, the aeroplane.
Yes, he knew that intestinally he could die. But because what he was doing, he was not self-centered. He was not self-centered. He was
selfless.
He was selfless.
And for the general,
because I know the risk involved in what you are doing. I've been there. And I know what it takes to be doing what I'm doing. And that's the essence of life. And honestly speaking, I have heard so much about you and what you are doing. It cannot be for money.
God bless you, sir.
This can only be God.
God bless you.
And I want to say this, that you have dexterities that are highly tantalizing.
God bless you, sir.
Please,
so
keep it up.
Sir, I'm so honored, sir. God bless you so much, sir. I want to appreciate this. I'm not taking it lightly, and it's for me, it's an inspiration for me to do more. What I believe in is that one needs to help the majority to sustain their own belief, because I've seen a lot happen in the society and I wonder why. And I believe that the only thing that will make the society go bankrupt is for the few honest ones to keep quiet. And our quietness could be dangerous for civilization. We need the better aspect of civilization, because I studied history, and in history, I appreciate the roles of personalities. But let's ask you, sir, that in doing journalism, what is the greatest lessons? What are the positives and the negatives that you learn as a veteran in that profession? Because for me, I grew up seeing a system whereby a lot of journalists become so touched with their subject that is supposed to what can I call it, to investigate. It's like an inspectorate being touched with the leadership of a school. It's better that is sent from Ministry of Education to come and look at the school. Then you cannot, because you are drinking, you are eating with them. So from your own perspective, what do you think are the odds that you saw in journalism and you think need to be corrected?
Thank you very much, my brother. You see, if you look at even the evolution of human society, from the medieval era, coming to the Roman Empire, was looking at the era of even the supremacy of the American system. You see, the most important sector in any human society is information and communication.
Information and communication
is very, very important. Very, very important. And you see, it was not an error when the media was described by a particular politician that being the third realm of the estate. You understand? It's very important. There is no society that can survive without quality information
or scrutiny or media scrutiny.
Very, very important. You understand? So, honestly speaking, but unfortunately, you see, the media in our society today is unfortunate. Has actually failed like other institutions and sectors in society. I say it with all sense of responsibility. We have failed.
Yes, sir. I know.
You see, number one, I attended China Foreign Affairs University.
What do you call it?
China Foreign Affairs University.
China.
Yes, and I was actually given the responsibility to review the role of the media in our society. And I asked them, which media? Let me tell you, sir. If you see any media, I don't care the name they call themselves, they are national newspaper. It is an error. There's no national newspaper in Nigeria. And I say
there's no national newspaper.
No national newspaper. For example, I am from Kogi in Kogi State. Check, do the content analysis of all our media houses, whether you see anything from Konya, from other rural areas. If you do content analysis, 70% of Nigerians are in the rural areas, and no issue concerning them that merit prominence on their headline.
I agree with you now, sir. I can see
some newspapers, they will report what happened in government houses from January to December. If it don't happen in the villa, you don't report them. You understand?
I agree, sir.
You see, if you really want to be called a national paper, you will be people-centered. You are going to be people-focused and you people committed. It's whatever happened to them. You are not driven by how much you made from selling the paper. It's about what happened to the people.
We are talking about developmental journalism now.
Exactly. The type you are doing. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So honestly speaking, some of us when we went into the media, into journalism, it was not for want of what to do. Then I had even employment with an aviation industry.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Aviation company.
Aviation company.
And the money is so...
And they were going to be paying me 40,000 then. I'll just tell you that
money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
That was almost like 400,000 now.
My media house then was paying me 18,000. You understand? And I decided I wanted to go and write. The MD of that Land Rover was surprised over land.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, when they started along that opposite. He was surprised, that young man. Even
all the befitting packages.
18,000 to
40,000.
You understand? Because some of us we actually took that job as not just a vocation, but a ministry. You understand? To the responsibility of educating people, informing them is very, very important. You see, because it gave us the capacity and enablement to do what they call mind management and mind control.
Yes.
You getting what I'm saying?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And whatever you give access to your mind controls your life. You see, the media will have more responsibility that we can immediately understand.
Yes.
You understand? Because apart from the educational institution, there is no institution anywhere in human society that has the kind of capacity that the media has. You have been given the capacity to manage the mind of the people.
Yep.
You even condition how they reason, how they understand some things. I was seated with a man one day, and one newspaper was actually reporting an issue, and the man was saying, paper by report. You understand?
Can you imagine? He was basing his opinion on the reporter.
Yeah. There's a kind of credibility
in that reportorial.
Yeah, you understand? They give us some kind of regard and respect in the society. You see, but honestly speaking, and at the same time, I'm not blaming the journalists or the media.
So why are you not blaming them?
Let me tell you, sir. There's only one law of nature that human being respects, and that's human preservation. In the midst of hunger, anything can go wrong. Even in the Bible, people were in Samaria in the Bible, people were eating their children.
Jesus Christ.
Because of bad economy. You understand? When you find yourself in an economy that is odd and even negate your fundamental aspiration, sir, you obey the message of the belly. The message of the stomach. Yeah, in an environment where, you see, as a journalist, you have children, you have responsibility,
yes,
you have bills to pay.
We live in the same society.
Yeah, you understand?
Yeah, we go to the same markets.
You see, so temptation will come. You see, and we are not as grounded or as enabled to resist that temptation. So they became victims of the odds in the society, just like any other organs. Okay, where iron rust, where gold rust, yes, sir, then iron is in trouble. If the corruption can penetrate the spiritual institution, who are we in the media institution? It's sad. You understand? It's so sad. The Bible says that rain fell and then flood came and it carried us, and we were not strong enough.
So we stand.
Yes.
Or to withhold.
Yes, we're not strong enough. We're supposed to be a tool to restructure the society.
Yeah.
But we're just like a mirror now. We're just mirroring the society. Just mirroring the society. We have become helpless.
But this is very strong one.
You don't understand. Let me tell you something, sir. You see, in the process of becoming, every media institution in any country evolve over time. And it's just like a baker. A baker determines the shape of the bread, by constructing a mold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you want to change the shape of a bread, you have to change the mold. Something molded us to become what we are. So criticizing us will not solve the problem. If you want to change the shape of the media, you have to change the mold. And it is the economic system that determines the socio-political system anywhere.
The economic system determines the socio-political
system. It's the structure of the economy that determines the social structure. We are who we are because of the way we are molded to become who we are.
I'm surprised that this is a very deep analysis. But let me even quickly ask you this question, that this is what frightens me.
Yes.
When we were growing, we had a lot of, he called the media is like an ombudsman. That is an ombudsman. Concept of ombudsman is somebody who is impartial. But now you wake up to the reality that most of the major newspapers in Nigeria are owned by politicians, by the elites. The Nation, one politician, Babatunde, the son, our friend Raji, even Compass in those days were owned by Otuba Daniel. Then you look at just few, even the few ones are subservient to some political interests and all that. Then you look at this, you look at the radio station, you look at the TV station, most of them are hijacked by politicians. What does this say to us when it comes to, because by the time you report, you have a scandal of this politician, you report, then they tell you that because the editors belong to the same league, we cannot report, we cannot foil or Agbaje. So what does this say about our media? Do you think the media is still independent when the coterie of establishments are being run by political or the elites? Because the only media now in Nigeria that I think is still a bit independent is even Punch. And it's unfortunate. So what do you see to that as a media enthusiast and as an icon in that industry?
Let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
Every media institution is situated in a particular context.
In a particular context.
I read a book some time ago, The Grammar of Politics, written by a man known as Harold Lasky. And he said a thing there, I think chapter 1 or thereabout. He said no institution in any society is ever intelligible save in the context of its own time. No institution, societal institution, is ever intelligible save in the context of its own time. Every institution responds to the stimuli of its own time. So it is the peculiarity of the time that dictates the peculiarity of the institution. Sir, we cannot treat the media in isolation of what is happening to our larger society. You cannot be looking at how a building is collapsing when the structures are down. It is the pillar. It is the pillar that holds a building. So when the pillars are down, we are meant to be down. You understand? If what you are carrying, when you fall as a man, what is in your hand will also fall along with you. It's when society rises that the media rises. I'm telling you sincerely. Except we just want to deceive ourselves. You understand? You see, for example, just like when people talk about the police. Let's assume you want to drive with all the policemen in Nigeria. Why do you recruit the new ones? The same society.
Yes, the same pool of people.
With the same society.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
So the media did not willingly fall, but the pressure was much. You see, when the pressure is high, anybody can fall. The pressure was much because of the kind of society we have found ourselves. And I keep making references to this, that when gold rust, or if gold could rust, what can iron do? If metals are buried in the soil, and you want to load their state after a few days, and you're able to pull out gold and it's rusting, don't even mind to look at the iron. Sir, there is pressure in our society, pressure on institutions. Unfortunately, the major stakeholders in our society, they intentionally, willfully weaken the institutions so that they can control it.
Oh, their own design.
It is a design. Things don't just happen. You see, things, even hunger did not just happen. Hunger is created for a purpose.
Hunger itself.
Yes, sir. For example, I'm a farmer. And I had the opportunity to discuss with some people a few days ago. And they are talking about some of the herdsmen here and there. Severally, I had cassava. They went there, they destroyed it here and there. And they were... I said, let me tell you, this can be a foreign policy of a particular country.
Of course, of course.
Sponsor these people there, go and cause hunger there. So that whatever they are eating, we produce it and sell them here.
Jesus Christ.
Nothing's happened for nothing.
Kai.
It's only in this country that we don't plan. We allow something to just happen.
We don't even think.
No, we don't. We don't act in a proactive manner. We all react. So whatever you see around did not just happen.
It's a design.
Yoruba will tell you, "Pay share, did share."
Yes,
something happened, but did not just happen for nothing. You understand? So some of the things were expressing, though occasionally, I mean, at times, you see, you might want to cause conflict so that you be in charge, but you might not know the length at which that conflict will go.
That I don't also consume you too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just like somebody lighting a bush and dry season. Anything can happen.
It can be escalated.
Of course. So you can cause some conflicts that will be fully and totally out of your control. But whatever might be happening now, I'm telling you, they were caused.
They were designed.
Self-designed. Yes, sir. Hunger is a foreign policy. Food crisis.
Foreign policy.
Yes, sir. Because there's no morality in foreign policy. It's about your own interest.
That's self-interest.
If people come down, they want to kill us. It's okay for them. It's okay by them. We are the one who must be ready to express so and be able to defend ourselves. So for the media, you weaken institutions so that you can control them. That's it. That's my political science lecture. I will call it kill and bury or block and tackle.
Kill and bury.
Of course not. If the media did not just get weak suddenly. When you are talking too much, somebody has to check you. And they have to look at how to check you. But we, within ourselves, as professionals, we don't have that inbuilt mechanism to actually withstand that pressure. Because unfortunately, some of the media houses that have been managed by even our seniors, unfortunately, I'm sorry, they didn't manage them well. Those media houses will have served as model. It's like, but we are allowed outsiders. They came in, they weakened decisions, they are controlling it.
It's very unfortunate. I look at it before we round up on the media. You see, I look back.
Yes, sir.
To the era of Martin Luther, the first Martin Luther in Germany, and I want to tally to this time. This is almost thousands, hundreds of years ago now, when there was need for reformation in the church, and the Catholic Church was the most powerful church in the world, and a lot of social contracts was intertwined around the Catholic Church. You have to marry one wife. You have to be subservient. When you are dying, your land is going to be acquired by the church. But when Martin Luther came out, we could discover that it was the age of the printing press. And Martin Luther didn't succeed alone. It was by the help of the printing press, which he used to disseminate information that everybody could have access to the Bible, and that the Bible should not be read to you by the priests, so that they will tell you that you come and pay Peter's pence, that if you sleep around, you kill anybody, your sins are going to be forgiven, you pay a small amount of money. And they wanted to kill Martin Luther, but because some of the princes that felt, people like Napoleon Bonaparte and some other princes in Germany, up to the further Europe, in France, they have to protect him. And you can see. Now, let's establish the idea of social media now. The traditional media can gag any news. Somebody could kill somebody now, and you want to do the report as a journalist, and by the time you do all the wahala, the investigation, you spoke to this side, then you are trying to speak to the other side, and the other side is telling you that the carrot is for you, and you take the story to your editor, and the editor tells you, don't worry, and that man is a good man. They lied on him. It's happened several times. So what do you think the social media has helped us to achieve in the face of a bottom, a secluded, a bungled traditional media?
My brother, honestly speaking, I'm one of the few individuals that have celebrated the advent of social media. I expected it. But I didn't know it would come this way and in this manner, to the extent that most of us are becoming watered down. You see, because number one, market, and I want to observe this, every system that is oppressive will crash one day. That's why empire rises and falls. Either human empire or institutional empires.
Yes, sir. I agree.
You understand?
I agree.
At a point, you see, and the media has become a victim. I was telling a friend of mine a few hours ago, it was the Joseph Schumpeter that propounded this.
The creative destruction. Yeah, 1941.
You understand? I remember when we were in school, you find your way to secretariat to be having
yes, everywhere.
Typewriters,
yeah.
Why is typewriter today?
It's almost,
look at the history of Kodak. Then you could not take any photograph without
buying the film, Kodak film, and you appreciate the film, you keep the film.
All of that.
They are gone, wiped away.
You see, in other countries, they expected the advent and evolution of social media, but we were not prepared there. It made us unprepared. And honestly speaking, you see, and let me tell you, it has solved major problems, but also created problems.
I want to believe, yeah.
It has solved. You see, it was just like an erosion. Yeah, it is water, but it comes with a lot of debt.
Yes, sir.
People now have unbridled, unfettered access to news. And a social media in a very corrupt atmosphere is still not too safe. Because number one, in an atmosphere where people's mind have been corrupted, you see, let me tell you, sir, there's no innovation to bring to an environment where the church and the family has failed. It will still not serve the interest of the masses. People, you see, when you come to an environment where, you see, we have lost our values.
I agree with you.
Where one goddess is dead, but another goddess of money has taken over. And there's no news. You have the news, unfettered, unbiased. But what is the worth of that news?
The worth of the news.
What is the worth of the news? What is the content of the news?
Is it constructive? Or destructive?
Yes, sir. Yes, nobody will gag you. It will be unfettered, it will be unbridled. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
But what is how safe?
I think that's where the role of orientation should come up.
Yes.
Orientation should be should be profound, and that's where the area of I used to ask a lot of people, national is the orientational agency, NOAA. That's where people should. These are organs that are supposed to be orienting. It should be a daily action, a daily activity that this and this and this and this should not happen, because it's like you are telling me that water. You want to give me water by the water board, but at the back of my house, I could just dig a well and I still have water. So, but if you give me orientation that the water I'm digging at the back of my hole, I should treat it with so strategy or whatever, then I will have a fantastic, healthy life. But you cannot stop me from access to water. I can tell you, even the way power is going now, you can tell Ikeja Electric or anyone becoming, I don't need your power, I can generate my own power. So that is how I see media too. Everybody has his own Facebook account. If you don't go and pay Punch to do photo pictorials for you, or Guardian to do pictures, you can do your pictures and just flash it on Facebook, and your friend will keep sharing it, and there'll be a lot of comments, and they will wish you well, and the next year Facebook will remind you about the events and all that. So, but telling me that you want to gag Twitter, you want to gag everything, is like throwing the baby and the water away.
No, an attempt should not even made to do such. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You see, I keep making references to a particular institution. Not so much because I'm a pastor, but because of the orientation. We have been brought up to believe some institution. You understand?
Yes, sir.
For example, when I was younger in the village, my late mom was a very wonderful cook. And when your profession is not an attribute of humanity, one day at least she could, and there was too much salt. It was salty. You don't need, my mother did not need to throw away the soup. All what she needed to do was to add more condiment to suppress the power of the salt. You don't say because something is bad or something is trying to manifest. Everything has two components. Every coin has two sides. And you don't, because of that, want to suppress the other side. All what you need to do is to promote more credible medium.
More credible.
Yes.
Medium.
Like institutions like the church. Credible institutions that you can bet your chest and say, if this news is from social this thing, let them come out. So that you will know which way, whatever news you hear, you go and clarify from another medium. It is not by holding the hand of another.
Yes, sir.
But let credible and more vibrant medium, let them come, promote them. So that
let there be competition.
Before there's a competition.
A proactive competition.
So that before you know, they will smoke out
the shots.
Yes. Because you know, today you carry one bad news, it was fake. Tomorrow, you know what? And this one is always coming out with good and reputable news. Those are the ones that will command the patronage of the citizenry. It is not by saying, no, I want to hold your hand. You can't cover smooth to come out from another angle.
Like what you were trying to do with the Twitter gag. Because because I was asking myself that if you say somebody like the Alhaji Lai Mohammed now, I used to see him at time, I just wonder, you see, you want to gag Twitter. And for a long time, a lot of young people, you cannot give them industry to sustain them or to annihilate their hunger. You cannot create creative ideas. Even the end power, whatever you are doing is not generalized, but people are able to create industries for themselves via the social media. They are selling their variables and all that. They are creating ideas for themselves. And you say you want to gag it, you want to kill it because of some minute. Of course, we are not saying that Twitter should come and destabilize our nation, but I have not seen the political rightness in killing a fly with sledgehammer. So that's my own fear.
You know, our society, that might sound funny, but we are still evolving. We are still evolving. You see, there are some phases we still pass through. It is slow. And genuinely, you see, there might be some level of even some people losing. They are losing hope here and there. But honestly speaking, we still overcome some of these problems. You see, let me tell you, we have our own problems here. And other countries, they have theirs.
Yes, sir.
There can never be a time in human society when you say, okay, our problems are over. Once there are human beings, there will always be problems. That is why we have brain. God has given us brain intelligence to solve some of these problems. You understand? And at the same time, we are not expecting our leaders to be perfect anyway. That's why we exist as a way of checking them. You understand? So we will get there.
Sir, let's quickly go into the issue of the church, sir. Because when we started chasing you in the last 2-3 years, in fact, it became so prominent in 2019 when a book came out about the TB Joshua I know by evangelist Bishola Johnson, and in some of the pages she gives some revelation. In fact, I was shocked when she made a revelation that she was the one that took over from a magazine that you were the publisher and you supposed to be the in fact part owner, shareholder. You are the one with the largest share, and she was sent to take over, and she traveled, she did some exploit with it before the magazine went bankrupt and all that. So we want to ask that, what was the relation with Pastor TB Joshua, the man who just suddenly fell and passed away on June 5 of this year? You know, even after that, we've intensified whatever to also reach out to you, but most of the time you are busy, you know, and we want to thank you. And we want to use this opportunity to say, please, can you recall? Because a lot of things have been coming out about him. How did you meet him, and what kind of a person he is, and what was the relation like? And in the light of reforming our Christian values, do you think that was a good thing that happened to the Christian family in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, my brother. You see, the demise of any human being diminishes me in status, honestly speaking. And without any attempt to sound controversial, I want to say this. That TB Joshua, I used to call him Okunrin Meta.
Ọkùnrin mẹ́ta.
Yes, sir.
That means man that is 3 or 3 that is man.
Yes.
Or 3 man.
Yes, sir. I was very close to Joshua.